Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Boys, listen, in this video we are speaking about how to become ripped and rich consistently across the board, bro. Listen, if you're struggling to put on muscle, to lose the weight, to build the physique of your dreams that you see in your head, or you're struggling to build your business, to build your brand, your social media, it's all the same concept, bro. And I think this only stems down to two main problems, and that's exactly what I want to break down for you guys today. Okay, I'm gonna give you guys all the sauce, all the fucking details, so stay tuned to the end. I'll tell you guys exactly how I fucking changed my life. Okay, so boys, the first thing is this. Listen, bro, I know people that have been in the gym for years, that have been working on their business for years, and it's not necessarily quantifying or measuring the success in ways you would think. You know, like for example, in business, like you can be making lots of progress and essentially still not maybe be making money, but you are progressing, you are getting better. And the same goes for the gym, right? You could be making huge amounts of progress, but maybe you're on a bulk and the progress necessarily isn't measured by just having a six-pack, right? But with that being said, bro, at the end of the day, progress is progress. And most people, the reason you probably have stopped progressing, or the reason you're not seeing any actual progress in any way, shape, or form is, bro, you're not working hard enough. You're not pushing as much as you truly could to your potential. And it's the number one cause of why I've seen most people stay the same, bro, for years and years and years in their mind, in their body, and in building their business. Okay, and so what you have to realize, and what I realized, because I've went through these same hardships, bro, is 9 times out of 10, it's not necessarily just the information, right? Because everybody likes to say, oh, you know, if you have access to the right information, it's easier to succeed, and that is true. But a lot of the times, effort is effort at the end of the day. And if you aren't putting in enough effort even into the right information, it still won't work for you. I say this all the time, you know, I could give you the blueprint to getting in shape, to building your business, but you still might not be able to make it work because you won't push hard enough, because you haven't become the kind of person yet to make these things work. For example, listen, you guys probably know this already. Getting in shape isn't rocket science, right? At the end of the day, it's just caloric deficit, not eating as much as you are burning on a daily basis so your body can burn the excess fat, the energy, and then building the muscle. Like it's as simple as that, right? Or vice versa, if you're trying to heavily build muscle, just hit your protein goals, you'll build the muscle. A lot of times, like, this isn't rocket science, bro. So you already have the formula, but yet you're probably struggling to progress, right? And it's because of the effort is lacking, the intensity is lacking. And that's exactly what the biggest problem is that I've seen in people going to the gym, people building their business for years, but they don't get anywhere. It's because they aren't putting in enough fucking hard work, bro. You have to push yourself to unheard of limits. Like, guys, when you go into a gym, whatever kind of shape you're trying to get into, right? Why are you not pushing yourself to the absolute fucking maximum of your abilities? And what it comes down to is your mind. Because you need to think about it in this sense of, the mind will give up before the body does, right? You know this, because a lot of the times what happens is you will be mentally exhausted, but not physically exhausted, right? If you have a coach there or somebody like telling you what to do or to like keep pushing, right? What will happen is you will keep pushing past like 10 reps, 11 reps, 12 reps. Or if I'm like one more, you can fully do it. But when you're by yourself, for example, especially in the early stages where you necessarily haven't built the killer mind yet, or like the mind of being able to push yourself, you'll cut yourself short. And we all subconsciously do this, right? And that's exactly the cause here. That's exactly the biggest problem on why you can't get ripped and rich, is you haven't developed the ability yet to push yourself past the limits. And so you have to dig deep, bro, in your mind, as deep as it gets, okay? And this is done through consistent pushing of the mind, through consistent repetition of failure, continuously pushing that bar higher and higher and higher and higher. And then eventually you get to a point where your bar is pushed so far that you fuck everybody, basically. Pause. And listen, bro, you know, I say this a lot. When it comes to, I always say, bro, you are who you surround yourself with, right? That's why I run my program, my one-on-one, my brotherhood. You can check it out. It's the link in the description for men that are wanting to continuously get better. And it's like, listen, if you aren't exposed to the other side of seeing how hard you could be going, how hard other people are going, how hard other people are pushing themselves and others, if you are never exposed to that other side, how do you know that you are working hard? How do you know, like, if you have nothing compared to compare yourself to, how do you know? Luckily, we live in an era where there's social media, right? But even then, it's different when you're actually interacting with people. Like, for example, with the people I mentioned, like, maybe you've been trying to get in shape for a while. You probably have, if you're watching this video. You've been trying to build your business, your brand for a while, but maybe you haven't been able to find success in it. And it's like, maybe you think you've been working very, very hard and you've been pushing, but how do you know? Have you been exposed to the other side of how fucking hard other people's training sessions are, how hard other people's work sessions are, how smart other people are working? It's like, you don't know until you've had something to compare to. Like, for example, even with myself, bro, I've actually witnessed this multiple times, because some of the boys in my program, in my inner network that I run, are here where I am located in Salt Lake City, Utah. And I'll go have sessions with them, and they'll be mind blown at, like, you know, once we've had the session, because they'll be like, oh my God, I've never worked out like this before, because it's very high intensity. It's very like push, don't fucking stop. We're not resting. Very minimal amounts of rest, and we're fucking going, right? And so I'll be working out with some of the boys, and like, I have a rule, actually. I don't work out with more than 2 or 3 people, because it gets fucking annoying. But with that, right, to me, that's just normal. That's just how I've worked out for the past 4 years. It's just the intensity, the standard. It's just a normal gym session. But to them, right, when they get exposed to that, when they're working out, they're like, holy fuck, like, this is probably the best gym session, for example, I've ever had. Like, I can see how the standard for this guy is, right? And I'm not sitting here trying to fucking toot my own horn, bro, and say I'm the shit. I'm just trying to get you guys to realize what happens when you expose yourself to that. Because now, subconsciously, right, when you go to work out and you've been exposed to that kind of training session, what are you going to do? You're going to consistently be able to compare your training session to that previous training session. Be like, oh shit, this is how I need to be working out. This is how I need to be pushing my fucking self, right? Consistently, like, look, let's fucking go, right? And same goes for the business. Now, that's the gist of that. Now, what I want to break down is more so like the informative side of things, the actual, looks like my brother just got here. I want to break down the actual information, because I think this is something that necessarily not always is the case, but does happen because of the misconceptions certain people will have on training, on building their business, whatever. It's like, you could be working very, 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 very hard, but if your attention and your hard work is going into the wrong things, it could be very, very, like, it could be going into nothing, essentially. I want you to think about it like this, gentlemen. Say you're trying to get a six-pack, but you cannot stick to a diet. And so essentially what you're doing is trying to out-train a bad diet, which is damn near impossible. It's literally like one of the hardest ways to go about the gym if you're trying to get a six-pack, and I'll explain why. So what happens is when you're trying to out-train a diet, you need to think of your daily maintenance calories, which is like your base metabolic rate, and then on top of however many calories you're burning in a day, put those together. So let's just say you're burning like 3,000 calories in a day. Like, that's just how much it's going to take for you to stay exactly the same weight, etc., right? And you're eating, let's say, like 6,000 calories a day. You're eating like shit. You're eating all day long. And so you have now an addition of like 3,000 calories in your diet. But bro, you're with your training, with your base metabolic rate, you're only burning 3,000. And so it's like all of those extra 3,000 calories is going to be extra stored energy, extra stored fat that your body's going to turn things into your physique. And so it's like, okay, you could be pushing yourself in training so hard, but you think that, okay, just because I'm pushing myself in the gym and I'm really focused on doing this, you don't necessarily understand the concept of like calories and tracking, etc., that you'll be losing weight. And then next thing you know, right, you'll be doing this for a month or two, and you're putting on a fuck ton of size, but you don't understand these concepts, right? But then you'll be seeing, to you, it might be like, dude, I'm getting fatter. What the fuck is going on? I thought I'm going to the gym to get a six-pack, and I'm over here somehow putting on weight. And that's exactly what I'm trying to get the point across from here, is like, you could be working on the wrong things because you don't understand the concepts and because you don't have access to the right information. And so it's like, you might think all of your efforts are going to waste, but you're actually just going about them wrong and working on the wrong things. And it's the same for business. It's the same for building your brand, trying to sell your offers, and making the progress there. It's like, you could be putting so much attention, bro, into this or that, but you don't have access to the right information. And so because you've been doing it for months, building your business, whatever, could be all going to waste. And so that is why it's so important for you to have the information, to understand things, and to still simultaneously be working your fucking ass off. Now, with that as well, when it comes to the building of your physique, okay, let's hit this informative side of the video for the ending. By the way, I got like been hitting one of these a day, 40 grams of protein, 270 calories. I usually just drink one of these after my gym session because I'm only eating like one meal a day. I've been doing that for a while. But so with this, right, how are you actually going to get the physique that you want and the most progress in your business is in the concepts that I was saying earlier on in this video is you have to push yourself to new limits consistently mentally. And in the pushing to yourself to the limits mentally, will that physically transfer over? And in those two, will that transfer over to your business, right? But think about this, okay? In its most basic way, this is how you're going to get ripped. You're going to work your fucking ass off in the gym. You're going to track your calories using this app called MyFitnessPal. And then if you want to take things a step, by the way, this is every single thing that you're consuming, you're putting into this app, okay? You're going to track the calories, the macronutrients of everything that you're eating, meaning the protein, the carbs, the fats, everything. You're going to put this all in there. And then what you're going to do is to weigh out your portions of food, or to like know the serving size of certain foods that you find on the back of these shits, right? You can buy like a little food scale is something to like get more accurate portion sizes and more accurate calorie tracking that you then will implement in the app, right? Once you've done that, I also want you to keep track of your workouts and how much weight you're pushing and how much you're consistently progressing, right? Because to tie this whole video together, bro, it's like, if it's not going tracked, you don't fucking care about it enough. Dude, I do journaling on the daily, every single day, for the things that are important to me, because I understand the importance of them. Okay, even to this day, I don't necessarily journal my calories anymore, because I've been doing this for like 4 or 5 years, where it's subconsciously, like, I eat the same shit basically every day. I know how many calories I'm intaking. I know that I only eat once a day, for example. Like, I know my shit, right? But early on, and specifically when you're trying to progress as much as possible to your goals, you need to be tracking the metrics of everything in fitness, business, and mind. And so with that, it's like, all right, track your weight sessions, track how much weight you're progressing, the exercises you're doing, and you'll do that. There's an app called Trainerize, or there's plenty of apps, but the one that all of my boys use, my clients, they use the app called Trainerize, where I set them up like a workout program, and they have to go in there and track it every single day. So you can track the sets, the reps, the weight, the rest times, all that stuff, right? So once you do that, now you've tracked your calories, you've tracked your workout, bro. You've tracked the inside of the workout, the actual weight. So then next week, or in a couple days again, when you hit the same weight, or in a month from now, you can now see your progression on the weight, on the weight in the gym, and then your own weight, right? All these things. And so you can now have like a graph. I also have people like record their weight every day, for example. And when you start to put things in front of you, well, you actually see everything for how it is. Okay, it's a big problem I had early on, bro. Like, I would be trying to organize everything in my head with like the mental real estate that I have, and it was just such a bad thing, because I promise you, trying to keep everything in here is 10 times harder, and it will go 10 times lost than when you start to actually jot shit down on a piece of paper, or on an app, on a calculator, whatever, to see it in front of your face and not thinking you know it in your mind. Okay, so once you start tracking these things, and again, if this is for fitness, whether this is for you building your brand, bro, in your social media, like how many times you're posting every day, what are you posting, like having a template. I have templates even in my program for people to track their avatars, their everything, like everything, the kind of content they're posting, the leads they're getting, how much these leads are worth. The main subject, the consistent thing that you can probably pick up from this video is you're tracking everything. Everything is going tracked, bro. I even usually, so I'm not wearing it today because it's the weekend, but this is, I have a band. It's I believe it's called a Whoop or a WAP. I don't know exactly, but even this band that I have, it tracks my daily metrics all the way around. So I wear it pretty much to sleep. I wear it everywhere just except for in the shower, because I don't want the band to get necessarily wet. But it tracks my calories, it tracks my recovery, my strain, my steps, everything. Like last week, bro, one of the top days, I walked 28,000 fucking steps in a day, which is insane, bro. I think I burned like 3,000 calories just walking that day. And again, because these things are important to me, because I like to know, okay, what does my recovery look like? How many hours am I actually asleep for? How this thing's pretty nice too. It actually goes into depth on like REM sleep, which is like your deep sleep, and so I get to see that. And again, it's because I care about these things, so I track these things. And in that, gentlemen, will you actually start to see that when you're working these tasks, by the way, right? When I tell you guys to make sure that you're working on the right things, the best way to reference these things are called the needle movers, bro. The things that are actually going to move the needle, because those are going to yield you the highest return. And that's what these things are. It's like you're really focusing in most of your attention, most of your hard work, most of the more effort that you are going to now start putting in is going into the things that are going to yield you directly the highest return on your investment. And your investment into these things is your time and your energy, right? And that is why all of this is significantly important, because in you organizing these tasks, in you having access to the right information, in you putting it in front of you, and you keeping track of all of this, can you understand it from a point of view, like a third person point of view, and organize it and now see, okay. So like, as I was giving you guys the example of working out earlier, I want to give you an example of the business side of things. One of my clients, one of my boys, he was trying to build his business, and I was mentoring him, and we were hopping on a call, and on this call we went over essentially why his business wasn't growing, right? And I was like, okay, well, what is the one thing that is the most important thing across the board, right? And he goes, well, he wasn't really sure. He was giving me a couple different answers, right? And I was like, okay, it's the content, right? It's the marketing. Because no business will run if there's no traffic to the business, if people don't know about it, right? And so that's essentially the content. And there wasn't being enough emphasis made on the content. He had a lot of emphasis going towards outreach, which I don't even necessarily recommend, and I don't even do, and all these other parts in the business to like optimize here and here, and those aren't necessarily the needle movers, right? I was like, okay, bro. So to me, like 80-90% of his day was going towards everything else except for making content. It even got to the point where he would go like days and days without posting a single piece of content. And I was like, okay, listen, bro, what we have to realize from this point of view is that we are missing out on one of the most important things that allows for any business to run, more importantly, this business to run, and that is the content. Everything stems from the content. It's like, if you aren't making content, most importantly, if you aren't making the right kind of content, this whole thing won't work. Like, yes, you can be doing so much outreach and you can be doing so many different things, bro, but at the end of the day, now all of a sudden you're running an entirely different system, or you're trying to do like this construction where you're trying to make a route, then when there's an easier route right here, and the route is 10 times easier, 10 times better, 10 times more efficient, but we're trying to like put a band-aid over what's actually wrong. And so in that, right, it's like, okay, we need to actually work on not the little small optimization, we need to work on the needle movers. And this is one of the needle movers. And so then once I broke this all down to him, the explanation, did he understand the importance of like, holy shit, I don't know how I've been getting so sidetracked for the past 2 weeks on this. Like, and then went on, boom, started making the right content, and then boom, my shit's flowing, right? So the same concept applies to the gym, and we'll end the video off with this. It's like, listen, bro, if you're trying to optimize, you know, which exercise you should do, like a cable movement or a plate loaded machine, you know, for more range of motion, I can promise you that shit doesn't fucking matter, bro. I can promise you that shit doesn't fucking matter. Just go 10 times harder on some of the machines that you're doing right now. Focus on the compound movements, push some fucking weight on that bench press, and push yourself like there's no fucking tomorrow. And that'll beat any kind of, optimization for the fullest range of motion to exert or get more of a stretch. Like, just fucking push yourself harder, and that'll beat any kind of bullshit that you're trying to mess around with. I promise you, effort, hard work, putting that shit into the right stuff, the right needle movers, that's what's gonna move the fucking needle for you and make the difference into getting into the physique that you want, to staying fucking ripped, to getting fucking rich, bro, to building and fucking knocking shit down. So boys, hopefully you took something valuable from this video. In getting the idea of there needs to be more effort And there needs to be more effort in the right areas of whatever it is that you're trying to do. Access to the right information, exposing yourself consistently in the comparison of what others and the level at what others are doing it to, so that then you can start to rise to those levels. And more fucking effort. All right, gentlemen, love you guys as always. Hope you took something valuable from this video, and I will see you boys in the next video. Let's go.